Canelo Alvarez will use a 10-pound rehydration clause on Daniel Jacobs in their upcoming Cinco de Mayo fight. Stay tuned. Boxingego here. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon on the top of your screen to get notified when the latest new content drops. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang, notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the super chats, channel donations, the Venmo donations, and the Patreon family. We working. Now, I want to give you guys this update. There's a big fight that was announced. It's Canelo Alvarez, his biggest fight with DAZN. Since he's been with DAZN, he obviously only had one fight with Rocky Fielding. He's going to be facing Danny Jacobs. Now, a lot of people, including myself, were thrilled and tickled pink, if you will, that this fight got announced. Now, one bit of information that just came out that, you know, was a little bit of a bummer, at least to me, is the rehydration clause. Now, Canelo in his last fight with Rocky Fielding, he moved up to 168. He moved up from 160, where he only has a handful of fights, 2 with Golovkin, you know, I guess a half a fight with Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. I say half a fight because it was at 164.5, and Chavez Jr. didn't put up much of a effort, it looked like, in doing anything to give Canelo any worry. But he moved up again to Rocky Fielding's weight, where he was a champion at super middleweight, had a version of the WBA title. He sold out Madison Square Garden, first time since being real popular fighting Floyd Mayweather that he fought in New York. And Canelo Alvarez, he put a rehydration clause on Rocky Fielding, who's like 6'2.5", 6'3", that, you know, he's moving up. He's the A side. Rocky Fielding can't gain too much weight. Now he has put that on Danny Jacobs as well. Now, I understand from a business perspective and a strategy why it happens. And, you know, you're going to have all the Canelo apologists. I like Canelo, for the record. But, you know, the radical ones that Canelo can do no wrong, they're going to say, oh, this has always happened in boxing, and Floyd Mayweather this, and blah, blah, blah. Even though Floyd Mayweather has nothing to do with Canelo's career. He's a retired fighter. They're in 2 different weight classes, etc. They'll blame Floyd for Canelo and Golden Boy's actions. And there's a rehydration clause. Another reason I believe this came up is because Daniel Jacobs and his trainer, Andre Rozier, Team Jacobs, they came up with a perfect strategy in the mutual opponent that they both have, which is Gennady Golovkin. And I was at that fight. I covered that fight as media. And in that fight, Gennady Golovkin at the time was the IBF champion, had most of the other belts except for Billy Joe Saunders' WBO belt. And the IBF has a same-day weigh-in procedure the day after the weigh-in and the day of the fight. The fighter is supposed to weigh in and can't gain too much weight, 10 pounds or whatever it is, or some percentage. I think it's 10 pounds. And what Team Jacobs decided is, you know what, bump that. We'd rather sleep in, come in comfortable, rehydrate and replenish our body, and come in at whatever my body naturally wants to rehydrate to, you know. And in doing that with Gennady Golovkin, he came up with a good strategy where, you know, he had a comfortable weight as opposed to limiting and having to watch what he puts back into his body after the weigh-in. He could just not worry about it, just make weight, and then go about his business. But in doing that, he forfeited his opportunity. If I thought he beat Golovkin, to be honest, but if the judges sided with him and he did beat Golovkin on paper with the 3 judges, then Jacobs wouldn't have been eligible for Golovkin's IBF belt. So that was the kind of the trade-off. Come in comfortable, weigh whatever you want, and not have to wake up early in the morning and do another weigh-in after the weigh-in, or, you know, fight for the belt and abide by the IBF rules. So a little bit of a strategic, you know, Tom Loeffler, I see him always on Twitter referencing this and bringing it up. Bottom line, Gennady Golovkin didn't really look great. in that particular fight. He jabbed mostly. I thought he lost the fight. It was a good fight. It's competitive. But fast forward to the future, him and his team are ensuring that Jacobs doesn't pull that move again, that same stunt, because in their contract, not even to do with the sanctioning bodies and the belts, they put on this particular rematch clause. This basically the same thing that they did with Rocky Fielding. So Canelo, he knows his position. He knows he's powerful. He knows guys want to fight him. He's the money man in boxing, definitely the money man in the middleweight division. So he's using the advantages and any kind of edge that he can get. It is what it is. And to me, the only reason I think it's a bummer is because, one, when I'm looking at this Canelo Jacobs fight, it's a unification. So, to see the fighter kind of create the rule set and the strategy, I feel Canelo has a lot of those particular things, like making Amir Khan come up to 155, even though he was a fairly newish welterweight and didn't really look good his fight before he fought Canelo and the Chris Algieri fight. And he didn't. I talked to Amir Khan before that fight and interviewed him, and Amir Khan said he wanted to put some type of rehydration clause on a catch weight, and he said Golden Boy says nope, take it or leave it. So this is clearly a strategy. I can pull up and drudge up if anyone wants, because I have the memory card or it's on my hard drive. The interview with Amir Khan, I remember exactly. He was wearing a burgundy shirt, and we were in the hallway at the Andre Ward fight. It was a bunch of media. Now, that's a perfect example. Amir Khan specifically said that I wanted to fight him at a catchweight, or, with the rehydration clause. My team looked at that, but Golden Boy said no. They said, if you want to fight Canelo, then, this is the offer. So it's clearly a strategy, because you made Amir Khan move up from welterweight to 155, and if he wanted to fight you, you didn't want a rehydration clause or a catchweight, right? After the Mayweather loss, you're probably done with catchweights unless they benefited you. It's just what it is. It's a strategy, and that's what he's doing. He knows Jacobs is a little bit bigger. Again, this is my thing. Catchweights, I'm not a big fan of any of that type of stuff, but catchweights make sense if two guys are in two separate divisions and they meet in the middle. Sometimes I understand that having to happen, like Floyd Mayweather versus Canelo. You're dealing with a big 154 pounder with youth on his side. Floyd's the A side. Floyd's really a smaller 147 pounder. So meet in the middle. Okay, cool. Or the Juan Manuel Marquez Floyd Mayweather fight. Makes sense. Or even Cotto fighting Sergio Martinez. They fought at a little bit of a catchweight because Cotto was the one moving up and he was the guy with the star power. But what Canelo's doing, I don't even think he needed a rematch clause. A rehydration clause with Rocky Fielding. I think the separation really was the skill. As far as Jacobs, he's a different animal because this is a really good fight. But I just feel like the Rocky Fielding, I don't think he I don't think a rehydration, no matter what Rocky Fielding rehydrated to, he doesn't look better, what he showed versus Canelo. He didn't look like he's a better fighter or more skilled fighter. And I at least understand that a little bit because he's 6'2", 6'3", in a higher weight class, and that's not really Canelo's true weight class. So I even understand that a little bit more. But a unification at middleweight where Jacobs is a champion and you're a champion, I just feel like that's a little bit overkill. But, it's boxing. DAZN invested a lot of money, and, fighters just want whatever strategic advantage they can get away with. So it is what it is. Jacobs accepted it. He has to weigh in, I believe, at 8 a.m. on Saturday morning before facing Canelo, and he cannot weigh more than 10 pounds more than he weighed in the night before. So to recap, both fighters have to weigh 160 on Friday when they do the weigh-in. That's, the middleweight limit. And 8 a.m., I believe they both weigh in. I know Jacobs is definitely, because he's the one that got the rehydration clause put on him. But the fighters weigh in the next day, and neither one of them could be 10 pounds more at 8 a.m. Saturday morning. And if they are, then there's going to be stringent, strict, and severe penalties You know, so they're both gonna have to be professional, or they're gonna get taxed, and a big portion of their purse will be zapped. I don't know the exact number. I don't think they've ever released it, but just consider hundreds of thousands. Like, let's say 150,000 per pound over, or 400,000 per pound over. You know, you start eating into your purse, the more overweight you are. Like the Filipino cat that just fought on the Pacquiao card, on the undercard, or was supposed to fight, he came in 5.5 pounds overweight and his fight got canceled. So if that was Jacobs who did that and came in 5.5, one, they might cancel the fight, but since there's so much invested, they would just tax the hell out of him, and he would probably have no purse. You know, if you're losing hundreds of thousands of dollars per pound and you're over 5.5 pounds, almost 6 pounds, then you're definitely going to be losing the bulk of your money. So anyway, I just want to give people the update. That's what it is. That's what Canelo's team wanted. That's the strategic advantage. Still a good fight, but just based on it being a unification and Canelo being a very skillful fighter, I don't even think he needs anything like that. Jacobs, yes, I just feel like Jacobs and Canelo, they should be held responsible for making the weight. Now, the one thing that, depending on how you look at it, if the glass is half empty, half full, whatever, this to me is a sign of respect. Not really in the Rocky Fielding case, that was just like an extra precaution. But to me, for Jacobs, considering the fact that Canelo has a couple fights at middleweight, this is a sign of respect. They respect Jacobs' skill set and who he is, so they want him to even, you know, not come in heavy like he whatever he weighed versus Golovkin. It doesn't look like they want that type of advantage. Again, a little bit hypocritical, because like when Canelo's fighting at his catch weights, a lot of times they benefited him. Like Amir Khan, you're clearly, Amir Khan said that Canelo weighed 183 pounds or something, and this was a fight that took place at 154, and you made him come up to Canelo weight to 155, things like that. So it's a sign, to me, it's a sign of respect though for Jacobs, because you guys are in the same weight class and you want to make sure he doesn't come in too heavy, right? So it is what it is, because he didn't, to my knowledge, I don't think there was a rehydration clause even when he fought Julio Cesar Chavez, and he was moving up from 154 when he fought Liam Smith to 164.5, and I don't even think he put the rehydration clause on Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. So to me, it's kind of a sign of respect, like if you look at it like that, just because why would you, Chavez Jr. is probably, he looked huge next to Sergio Martinez. So if you're worried about anyone rehydrating, maybe he might have had it with Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. So don't quote me on that, but I don't really remember rehydration clause. They might have had one in there, but if they didn't, then that's a sign of respect for Daniel Jacobs, because if you're worried about anyone blowing up, it's Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., who fought even at light heavyweight, you know. But again, don't quote me on that. Maybe they had one, but that's what it is. It should be a good fight. It's just me personally, I don't prefer that, but this was probably the only way Jacobs was going to get the fight. It is what it is. Let me know what you guys think. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Make sure you smash the like button as always. Hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video, is Ego signing off. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxingego, the future of boxing.